name is Hunter. This is Moses, Isaac, and Drew. And today we're going to be talking about your financial family plan. Alright, we'll cover things such as establishing a budget and advice on tax brackets, moving or renovating the house, saving for your children's future college expenses, and planning for Rosa's health care, paying off debt, and improving overall finances. Is retiring by 65 feasible? Can we afford a vehicle for Elena? And should Sophia keep her home-based bakery, expand, or change paths?
Starting a budget. I understand that starting a budget can be a little difficult at times, especially I remember during the case study, we looked at it and we saw that you guys kind of struggled at times maybe making it up. But that's why we're here to help. That's why your grandmother had us help you. So what can be done to cut out some of these expenses and try and live more comfortably? What we recommend is working with one another and agreeing on what specifically needs to be cut, such as like these miscellaneous expenses, like going out for coffee that's $6 where you can just get it at home and only have to spend $240 annually instead of roughly $2,000. It's a very large gap. As well as switching to T-Mobile for $170 a month, and that's with, I believe, 5 phones, and you get free Hulu and Netflix with ads. Making more home-cooked meals to save on eating out, because you guys eat out roughly, I think it's like 4 to 5 times a week, and it's a bit much. I'm not saying you can't eat out at all, just maybe lower that to 1 to 2, save a lot of money that way. As well as putting 30% of all your paychecks towards savings and college funds, because you want to try and retire before 65 and still send your kids to college. That's a big thing, and it's good that you're trying to do that. As well as piggybacking off of this point, maximize your 401k whenever you can. It's important to contribute to that because your employer is essentially just giving you free money for putting that in. It's great. And then also, like I said before, cutting back on easy to save expenses like the coffee and a lot of these streaming services, which are kind of pointless.
Now, should you renovate or move? With renovating, with an average cost of $400 per square foot, renovating can definitely be costly. However, it prevents you from having to move. For moving, with your current mortgage at $198,000 and your house being valued at roughly $280,000, affording a bigger house would be significantly more expensive. Renovating your house will not be a cheap expense, but when weighing the pros and cons between renovating and moving, renovating is much better as it increases your current home's value and allows you to not have to relocate and risk losing your jobs. Additionally, since Rosa has around $150,000 in available cash from home sales, we can use a portion of that to renovate the home, which eliminates new debt or new taxes.
Saving for college. This could look like seeing how much each of you are willing to allocate towards your child's college funds. We also recommend putting $100,000 from the sale of a house into a high-yield savings account to start $75,000 for Sophia and $25,000 for Mateo based on their ages. We're also trying to put, at the most, $800 monthly for a college fund.
And that $800 a month is for each child, so each child gets $800. So it's $1,600 in total. And then when Sophia graduates and moves off to college, Elena. When Elena goes off to college, then that $1,600 goes straight to Mateo instead because of the significant gap in original pricing. And then healthcare for Rosa. We understand that the healthcare family is a huge priority, and what we recommend is kind of trying to start up a similar or very close to life insurance plan that Miguel has. It's a very solid plan, and it wouldn't really take a lot out from your total monthly income after expenses. And Rosa is also able to apply for Medicare, which is wonderful. It saves a lot of money on stuff that unfortunately happens in the medical field, but it's good that she can still apply for it.
Alright, paying off debt and staying out of debt. What we recommend doing is allocating money to put forward to that debt and making sure it's feasible increments so you're not taking out too much and then you don't have enough for your daily expenses. And Also, we recommend to stop using your credit cards as much as you can during this. And we also recommend that we should start using your credit cards only if you know that you can pay for what you're buying with it. And then it will also keep you away from that debt that you're in. And if we're staying out of that, we recommend switching over to the debit card for larger purchases, and then using credit cards on items you know you can still pay for.
Like for big expensive items.
Yeah.
Your car's tire goes flat all of a sudden. You don't want to be stuck in the whole $500 and then not be able to pay off your credit card and you overdraft fees and extra charges. It's not great. Is retirement before 65 feasible? I understand that you want to be able to send your kids to college, but also try and retire before 65. Unfortunately, with how little has been kind of allocated toward both of these things, I don't believe it is feasible. I'm not saying you're going to have to work till you're 80 to retire. It is still definitely possible to retire at a good age. So what we recommend is regularly contributing to your 401k and both of you have a Roth IRA, and to regularly contribute to both of those in order to kind of help potentially speed up that retirement. We also recommend working closer with one another to agree on what you should cut back, whether it's going out to eat on certain days or maybe going on a vacation to spring break, and instead of doing those things, you reinvest it. And I also saw that you guys have about $18,400 in bonds, specifically I believe it was FBNDX, which it's not a terrible bond. However, I believe that you can make more money, at least annually and over time, through the S&P 500 because on average the market does appreciate about 10% each year if you just keep reinvesting that dividends and the money you make through it.
Should you buy a car for Elena? Given that Rosa can no longer drive, she has no use for her car anymore. Miguel can then take Rosa's car and transfer his car to Elena, completely eliminating the need to purchase a new car, and it allows her to start to work. Instead of adding a new expense, reallocating what you already have is much more optimal. It reduces debt, increases cash flow, and meets Elena's needs. I would also recommend renewing the lease on Sophia's car. With this given budget, it's the most optimal.
Yes.
Bakery. Sophia's bakery is crucial to the family's income. However, the one downside is the off-season where little money is made. So, what can be done to fill the gap of income loss? Things like take a part-time job in the off-season of bread making to help save more for retirement and college funds for Sophia and Mateo, and make more bread to prolong the sales season and advertise online through apps such as TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc.
Thank you. We appreciate your time and we appreciate you coming to us with your help.
Thank you. So I was just kind of doing some math here. You guys told me I need to max out my 401k, which would be about $2,000 a month. And then you said to save for college, that's $1,600 a month. And then you said put money into the Roths. You didn't really say,
Yes.
but how much per month?
Do you mind if we pull up the spreadsheet that we
But
made?
anyway, so that's going to come to about almost $4,000 a month. That's pretty much majority of our income. How would we live off of the remainder?
So I guess I did technically poorly word maxing out your 401k. I would say try your best to max it out while still living within your means. If you can, of course, max it out every year, that's fine. Maybe you get a bonus from your job. You can put some of that bonus towards that 401k. And we see here, we have our yearly expenses, we have the sale of the house, as well as allocating 75% and 25% of this 100,000 into college funds. And then we also have a list of expenses monthly and savings. Now, when I understand that, this $1,189 a month with Elena is a little confusing and odd. This is because she's turning 16. If she chooses to, maybe she potentially gets a job. If she doesn't, however, we have these two total take-homes of profit divvied up. We have the $3,490, which consists of Sophia, Miguel, and Rosa's. I understand that maybe, Rosa wants to keep some of her money. That's perfectly fine. If she wants to keep all of it, it's still $490 a month take home pocket to put into an extra emergency fund or just have a good time. Maybe it's golfing, seeing a movie, going on a vacation every once in a while. However, obviously, if Elena gets a job, that number increases substantially. We also have on the side, we have the phone bills, we have the Roth IRA savings. Not the Roth IRA. The savings allocation is about $700 a month. The Roth IRA is about $500 a month, so maybe $250 for each account, or just put it in one account for $500. Do you need me to zoom in?
No, I'm having a hard time reading that with the black and red.
Oh.
It's just, I got old eyes.
Oh, I apologize for that. I'm sorry.
We wear my glasses.
Yeah.
We also have random miscellaneous expenses, like the therapeutic spending that I believe it was Elena or Sophia does on Amazon. It was about like $300 a month, which is really a lot. But I'm not saying that she can't just spend to spend. It is nice to spend some of that hard-earned money you make. You don't want to just work till you're dead and not be able to spend. That's terrible. So we have that random miscellaneous expense in there. We also have the mortgage, and that's just a guesstimate. It's because we're not too sure what you guys are currently paying on it. We also don't know how many years you have left, which is kind of an issue on that. But that's our guesstimate. I believe it was for 84 months. But we also have the phone bill. We have the coffee at $22.50, and that's if you get your own coffee maker and then just buy Folgers coffee. Folgers, not Folgers. Folgers. It significantly goes down from and this is, in fact, daily, actually. You can live off $22.50 of coffee for the entire month if you go with cheaper options instead of going out to Big B and spending $6 a day. It's a lot of money. But like I said, we have the Roth IRA, we have the savings, we have the college, which is, like I said, $1,600, and we account for that even after Elena graduates. So, Elena graduates, they are not getting that money, then it's still us. So that's what we have set up for the total monthly expenses and savings. Any further questions regarding this or the slideshow?
What should we do about the Lions season tickets?
Oh, yes, the line season tickets. I believe it is entirely in your budget if you choose to get it and renew them. It is entirely in your budget, I believe. You could definitely do it. You might have to scrunch a few things if you want to keep trying to take home at $3,400, but it is well in your means to be able to, yes.
I liked your recommendation that we should talk together about how what we prioritize in reducing our expenses, on that discretionary spending. Do you have an amount that you recommend we reduce it to?
On just the miscellaneous expenses, I would say, you guys have a lot of subscriptions, which is kind of a little concern. You have Spotify, but you also have Amazon Prime, which it kind of makes Spotify obsolete because you get Amazon Music for free included with that price. So I would say try and reduce it to, like the random spending, $150 a month, and then also
thank you.
trying to account for the other things. I would say that's probably going to be about another $200, so like $350 a month in total would be a good thing to try and keep it at.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, is that all?
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Wonderful, I appreciate it.